Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Sky, and here I like to do a little bit of whatever inspires me. So if you end up liking the video, feel free to like and subscribe, and yeah, let's just get right into it. For almost 3 years now, I have started off my year using this exact routine, and it never fails to keep me in touch with myself while being organized and set on the goals that I have set at the beginning of the year. I want to stress that this is something that works for me and how my brain works, and you shouldn't hold yourself to the standards of other people's routines if it's not what works for you or aligns with your goals and values. If you see me before, you're probably like, wow, the lighting is actually pretty decent right now, and oh my god, she has a microphone. Yeah, I just got these things, so I'm gonna be like holding my head to like one of these two sides because the light, I'm trying to like learn how to maneuver it. I love to do this routine on New Year's Eve because I like to visualize that I am shedding the past year and leaving it in that year. I love waking up early, but not super early. I like to be able to sleep in a little bit so I'm fully rested and I can do my routine, you know, feeling good. I also don't like to necessarily oversleep to where the entire day is completely gone. I like having a lot of time to do my routine so I don't feel rushed and I don't feel like, oh my god, I'm not going to get everything done, because to me, I just feel like that's bad luck because I've been doing this for so long. This year specifically, I'm going to be starting off my day by finishing off a set of nails that I started the previous day. I feel like a fresh set of nails just always makes me feel so put together. This year, I'm going to be doing a simple French tip. That's what I usually try to do every single New Year. It's just like a simple nail because I feel like it starts off the year in like a very baseline, elegant way. That's just what I like, and you can like alter that to however you want to view your new year. But I also really like choosing the colors that I use in my nails intentionally for specifically the new year because I just feel like it's cute, another layer of intention setting. And the white represents cleansing, purity, and purification, which I think is really cool and very representative of the whole idea of doing a new year. You know, it's a fresh start. I also do the same kind of thing with my toes, and every single year I never change this. I do green. Green represents healing, luck, and harmony, and I feel like the combination of the two, like I always want to have like some form of intention during the new year. I feel like it comes across so corny, but like it feels good to me. And also it sets up your mind to start believing that good things are going to happen if you are consistently doing things with intent. So if you are interested in doing this, these are the color guides that I use to sort of determine what colors I want based off of their meanings. And I think it's just cool to like, I don't know this stuff because it's like a fun little topic. I love this kind of stuff. Next, I clean my room, and I don't mean like a quick little tidy up. I mean, you need to get down with it. You need to get every nook and cranny cleaned. You need to whip out the cleaning supplies. If you have wooden floor, you're mopping. If you have carpet like me, you're vacuuming. So I would start off the cleaning process with just taking everything off of my floor, putting it all onto my bed, and vacuuming. That is my least favorite part. Then I separate all of my clothes from like the random things that I threw on my bed. Then I separate my clothing into 3 separate piles: hang, drawer, and dirty. Then I take a pile and either fold, hang up, or put it into the washer. And then I take everything that was on my desk or dresser off. I wipe them off. You know, it's just like dusting. I just like using like a damp cloth to make sure that I get all the dust off, and I am very sensitive to dust, so I can't just like use a duster. You know, I can't like have the dust flying around everywhere. So I just use a damp cloth to make sure that I get all of it off. I clean off all of the items that were on there, and then I put them all back into their places. I then take Windex and a microfiber towel and I wipe off my mirror and my windows. I then put on a fresh bed set, wash my old one, and then I am done. This usually takes me around 1 hour to do. A way to really get yourself to do this kind of thing is break it up into segments, and then each time you end up crossing one off, it's like more motivation to keep on going because you feel like you're accomplishing something. Throw on music, throw on like an audiobook or a podcast, something to keep your brain working, or if you're able to, like maybe call a friend and like chat while doing it. It's really not hard to clean once you get started. It's always the getting started part, and if you're able to find something to motivate you into doing it that's outside of like, oh, I want an aesthetic room, because that will fall short because that's not really like a disciplined thing, but to something that will get you to start and sort of be with you the entire time, that's what I like doing. Sometimes I call my friends, sometimes I'm just listening to music, but it's always fun. And make sure it's like high vibe music. It's always better if it's a little bit more upbeat. But next I grab some food and then I go outside to read and journal because I love journaling. It is something I highly recommend it to literally anybody that has thoughts. Like, use a journal. I feel like it opens like a whole new door of possibilities. It does not need to be cute. It really does not need to be cute. I want to do a video talking about my journaling process at some point because I feel like a lot of people think that you need to journal in a very aesthetic way, and then a lot of people get discouraged when it doesn't look like that because they think they're doing it wrong. My journal is very tailored to me, and I found my perfect method a few years ago, and I haven't stopped since. We will see if anybody wants that video. But I like doing this stuff outside. If you are able to have the chance to journal and read outside, it is such a magnificent experience. It is so grounding. It is so just distraction free. It's 10 times better than being indoors, I feel like. In my journal, I have these designated pages where I do a end of year recap. I love implementing a little bit of a system with revisiting those months. In January, for example, I would write down what happened that month, how I felt in the moment from what I remember, and then I would also talk about it from my perspective now after learning from that experience, or what I think now if it was still a big deal. It's so good to look back on your months and actually evaluate what happened. I don't know, and it's also so cool to look back in your old journals and see that sheet. You should also ask yourself what certain things worked for you and what certain things didn't work for you. This is evaluating the year, I guess, a little bit, sort of like the end of year audit that a lot of people are talking about this year. It's just figuring out what things you should keep around for this new year and what things you need to change. Because I don't really see a point in keeping routines or even behaviors, that's harder to change than a routine, but just things that do not work for you or do not serve you or aren't helpful in getting to where you want to be. I don't think there's a point in keeping those things around because they do not work. They're not going to work again. It's going to be an endless cycle of just continuous disappointment. I love writing a goodbye letter to the year because it's I don't know, I write it 2025 is a real person. So this is my 2024 journal. Isn't she cute? Isn't she lovely? She's very well loved. And I'm going to read you my 2024 goodbye letter so you guys can understand sort of what I mean by it. I wrote this on December 31st, 2024. Dear 2024, you have been one of the most hardest years of my life, as well as the most evolving year of my life. I have been able to learn so much about myself, as well as my abilities to treat myself well when it is deeply needed. You have fostered some of my darkest moments, as well as some of the most beautiful. I do not believe any of it had to happen for me to learn these things, but now that it is over, I guess that it was good that I learned from the experiences. You have forced me to change and grow for the better. I really wish you could have gone a little bit more easy on me because God, you did not hold back. You really saw me and said, yep, I'm going to put all of my attention on you this year. It for sure helps me build character and lore for me. I am thankful for the growth and development because it made me come out of the year a much stronger person. I am very happy that you're going to be leaving now, but I will still carry all of the things that you taught me with me for the rest of my life. Thank you 2024 for all of the good and the bad. It's been real. I hope 2025 is better to me, but holds the same amount of growth that you did. I will love and leave you now. Goodbye 2024. Yours truly, Skylar. But it's things like that. That is how I would suggest you format it, but it's completely up to you. I'm not owning this journal. But as you saw, I love expressing a lot of gratitude while also acknowledging how sucky some parts could have been. And then I set up my 2026 manifesting journal. This is my manifesting journal. It's just this cute little pocketbook. It's very skinny. It's very small. But I got this at the beginning of 2025. Because I didn't finish all of the pages, it's going to be my 2026 one too. You don't need to divide your journals just because the year passed. But these kinds of journals are supposed to be very tailored to you, just like a regular journal, but very tailored to what your goals are and how you choose to do this routine. And you can look up a few different ways on how to format manifesting if you want online. There's a lot of really helpful videos. I'm not going to really get into that here. Just find a combination that feels right to you and I don't know, just functions well with you. Mine is not a complete copy of, I think, anybody else's manifesting routine. I do not know every person on the planet though. It could be. But I have gone through so many different documents, so many different images on Pinterest to where I just taken certain things and I've just added it to what I do to make it feel like a complete routine to me. So just find what feels right to you, but this is what I did. I'm going to tell you what my routine in here is. So on the first page of this journal, I wrote down what the intention of the journal was. I just wrote down declaring that it's going to be for manifesting and my goals and whatnot. And it also gets that one page done to where you're starting the journal. Again, I will repeat this until the day I die. Starting is always the hardest part of every process. As soon as you get past that, you can enter some kind of flow state. Then I wrote down my 5 affirmations for the year. I went through a bunch of different inspirations and I eventually ended up creating my own or a little bit of an agglomeration of different ones that I found. Something about the structure is you need to talk in current time. as if you are currently already feeling that, because affirmations are to affirm a feeling or a thought. I was a psych student, so a lot of this is based sort of in psychology because like, I don't know, I was in a science field to where everything for me needs to sort of be backed by some form of science for me to end up believing it. And affirmations are actually like a really good thing for people to do. It can actually really help your mental state. Then I follow up with the affirmations with who is she? Questions of the year. This took me so long to put together all of these questions in a way that felt like it was well-rounded enough for me, and it just felt like it touched all of the bases that I wanted to talk about in a journal, because at a certain point, if you are looking for things to add to your routine, at a certain point you just feel like it's complete. And that's what I listen to more so than people saying like, oh, you need to reach all of these different criterias. Like, I don't really feel like that is sustainable for me to go off of other people's idea of a complete routine. Like, it will feel complete when I feel like it's complete. But I chose these from so many lists that I found online, and it took me so long. So I'm going to read you the questions that I have chosen because I feel really proud of the list that I collected. The first question is, how does she dress? What does her energy look like? What are her boundaries? What does she focus her energy on, or what does she put her energy towards? How does she protect herself? How does she treat other people? How do people treat her? How does she end up taking care of herself at the end of the day? How does she handle conflict? How is she perceived? What is her perspective on life? What does she want out of this new chapter? How does she talk to herself? How is she working on herself? And what is she currently learning? Those are the questions that I really liked and that I ended up taking. I feel like this is a pretty solid list of 15 questions you can ask yourself. So for an example of how I would answer these is, number one, how does she dress? I wrote, she dresses in colors and cuts that make her feel most beautiful. She does not limit herself to one certain style. This helps to visualize the kind of person that you want to embody in the upcoming year. And then after that, I have my top 3 main goals. Like, if I had to choose 3 goals out of all of the ones that I have for this year, these are the ones that I am putting at tip-top priority. And then right underneath the goals that I wrote down, I follow it up with at minimum 3 actionable steps that I need to take in order to achieve that goal. I feel like writing down a goal with no actionable steps is just a thought. You know, it's not actually a plan. You need a plan in order for something to occur. Like, if you don't know where to start with the goal that you have, you're not going to end up starting. And like I keep on saying in this video, starting is always the hardest part. So you need to write down at least the first step, followed by 2 other actionable ones. If you want to get your driver's license, the first step would be to start studying for the written. That's literally the first one. But what is the absolute minimum first step is to get the study materials. Write down the absolute, as dumb as it sounds, the most obvious first step in doing it, because it will get the ball rolling. Just at minimum 3 steps. Do as many as you want, but every single goal has at least 3 steps. The whole key is to not be vague and don't skip parts. And now lastly, I have a scripting section. This is where I do my scripting for all of my goals, short-term and long-term ones. Scripting is basically talking about something as if it already happened through great emotional detail, affirming vocabulary, and overwhelming gratitude. Overwhelming gratitude is absolutely necessary. I feel like it just helps you stay motivated. Gratitude is so important. Going off of the driving example that I just did. If you want to pass your driver's test, you would journal about how amazing the accomplishment feels, how grateful you are that you have your license now, how much you served in the photo, and just generally like how grateful you are that you don't need to depend solely on other people or Ubers to get you to places. And you feel like a layer of independence, you know, like all of this stuff. You would also express gratitude for even being able to have taken the test to begin with. And this is not something to be mistaken for magic either. I feel like a lot of people think that it is. For me personally, this is what I do to maintain a sense of confidence around certain things. Like, yeah, I'm able to accomplish this thing. It's setting up your brain with a positive outlook on the situation so it doesn't feel as daunting, because going after your goals can be such a scary thing. And with that being said, you can't just write down a topic and expect it to happen overnight. Confidence has to be gained and also maintained over the situation. You don't need to write about it a million times, but more than once I feel like is definitely something you should do, especially if you are on the verge of taking that driver's test. Do it a few times. I feel like just really get that confidence of, like, obviously, like, work really hard at studying for the test, practicing in a car with a legal driver, do all the stuff that's necessary, and also like work on this. I feel like gaining confidence is a big part of achieving any goal that you want, so it needs repetition. But while doing this, I love listening to my playlist vision board, which Whoa, a playlist vision board. What is that? You may be asking yourself right now. That is basically a playlist full of songs that I feel like align with my intention and vibe for the year. I personally really like to include a lot of songs that have great affirming lyrics, positive messages, maybe certain ones that are specific to certain things that I'm trying to achieve, are overall high energy and just generally sound good. Like, don't add a song that just like sounds like doo-doo to you. You're not gonna ever listen to it. So like, why add it if you're just gonna always perpetually skip it? And I personally limit mine to 50 songs just because I feel like it gets to be a lot, but it's completely up to you and what you want to do. Now, this next part that I do, I feel like it's completely optional. I feel like this is something that like you only do if like you're genuinely interested in it, but I really like to read 2 essays from this book that I've been reading, 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. I love this book. I heard about it a couple of years ago and I got it and I love it. I feel like it's so easy to understand the way that she talks, but it's also like, I love the topics. But I like doing it because I feel like it keeps my mind in the headspace of self-improvement, because I feel like when I'm journaling and I'm just doing like my hobbies, it goes into more of a creative headspace, more so than I'm doing this for the betterment of myself and I'm prepping for the new year kind of mindset. That's why I do it specifically during this reset. And now this is where I sort of pack it up and go inside and get ready for my everything shower. I personally start with a bath. I also play frequency music while doing this just because I feel like it makes me extra calm, and frequency music plays during my personal meditation, so it just puts me into a completely like zen state. And I love the way that it feels. I don't know, don't knock it until you try it. But during the last 15 minutes of the bath, I like to exfoliate and shave. And then I drain the tub and then I get ready for the shower portion. And I always double wash my body during an everything shower. Then I double shampoo my hair and follow it up with some conditioner. And then I wash my face in the shower. There's some people that don't, and I don't really understand that, because like, you're in the shower, you might as well do it in the shower. But there's some people that don't, so I'll respect that. And then comes my post-shower routine. I put lotion on my arms and legs. Right now, I'm using this lotion from Soje De Niro, and I've gotten so many compliments from random people, like my friends like it, yeah. But random strangers that were near me that I was talking to, they're like, you smell so good every time that I wear this lotion. I love it. I would highly recommend this one. I then put in my hair products, just a little bit of extra leave-in conditioner, mainly on my ends. It's a 10 and I use the light version because I have more delicate angel wisps. And I'm also finishing off this Dove hair density serum for your scalp. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It's just I will not be repurchasing it in my new year, but I just wanted to finish it off, so it ended up being in this routine. I then brush it through my hair and then let my hair sort of air dry for a bit while I'm putting on a face mask and using my gua sha and face roller. Those are 2 things where like a lot of people say, oh, it works, but like I've never done it consistently enough to where I can vet that or not. I just think it feels really good. It's literally like a facial massage. And then after eating dinner later in the day, I like to meditate. It also really helps me wind down for bed. So I like doing my meditations at night or like bright and early in the morning. I love this amazing channel called Great Meditation. I talk about them all the time whenever I do a meditation in a video. It is my favorite channel. It is such a great guided meditation channel if you are just starting out or want to get into meditation. It is so good. They have really short 10-minute ones. I'm pretty sure at some point they were putting out like 40-minute ones to an hour. And they have visualizing ones, and then they have just like coaching through the meditation ones. I love doing both, but if you are not into guided meditations, just look up frequency music. So there's also people that meditate to silence. I like choosing a meditation too that has the vibe for the year. Like there's some that are stepping into a new era or something like that. There's just different videos with different titles of their concept. Next, I make a vision board. I'm not going to be going into how I make it, what mine looked like, or anything like that in this video, because that's coming next week in a separate video. So subscribe if you want to see what I do to make a vision board that it's sort of effective and also very, very cute. And now I sort of just do a bunch of housekeeping basically. Like I clean off all of my brushes, which I rarely do. I really want to get better at that in this new year because I really should. I then lay out my next week of clothing that I plan to wear while going out. I also lay out all of my shower things. So I lay out a towel, a hair wrap because I love using those, and a change of comfy clothes that I can change into after the shower. And I do this so I'm able to just grab and go for my shower, and it just sets it up to to where it's like one less thing that I need to decide on. And then last on my list, I set up my new calendar and planner for the year. I do it with all of the events that I am aware of right now. And then for the next like week or two, if I know what I'm doing for the next week or two, I definitely add those things in. I'm very particular with the planners that I choose. I feel like you definitely should too. The planner that I have for myself this year is this cute little green one with like pink little bursts on it. And I think it's cute. It has a month spread, and then it has weekly spreads, and it has a lot of space to write in those weekly spreads because I write down like literally every single minuscule detail of my day that day. And I chose a planner that has this kind of layout because I tend to get very, very overwhelmed with just using like a wall calendar because I get so nervous looking at the entire month and like every single thing that I need to do, to where like I learned that I work best if I'm able to, yes, know what I'm doing in the overall month, but also just have my weekly. And then after that, because I do this on New Year's Eve, I go out and I chill with my family for a bit and I watch the ball drop. And that's how I finish it all off. I check in with myself and my goals very often throughout the year so that I'm able to stay on track with the goals that I wish to achieve. This one reset will not get you there. It is the habits that you need to build. So let me know if you want a video about that and what habits I have built in order to keep myself sort of accountable for what I do. But thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video helped you find some things that you would like to add to your yearly reset. And I have a lot of really fun things planned for you guys this year. Let me know if you guys would like to see anything specific from me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.